Hello bookish friends in the internet, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Drew and this is Drew's Ambitious Reading. And for today's video, I am here coming at you with my May wrap up. It is time to wrap up the month of May. It is currently May 30th, Tuesday, May 30th as I'm filming this, but you guys will most likely see this the first week of June. So happy June and happy Pride Month to everyone. I cannot wait to read a bunch of Pride books and all that. But without further ado, let's jump into my May wrap up. So my books, or actually, instead of jumping into my May wrap ups, let's talk about my two currently reading and then we'll go into my May wrap up. So the two books I'm still currently reading, I feel like I'm talking about these books nonstop, but I'm almost finished with Wings of Shadows by Nikki Peru-Peretta. This is the third and final book in this trilogy. I've been talking about this on my channel for quite a few videos now, so I won't be saying too much more, but I did make a lot of progress in it last night, so I'm hoping to finish this one today. I literally have this much left right here. So I feel like I can finish this today, which is good because I'm leaving for my trip to go to Maine today, or tonight I should say. So if I finish this before 10:30 at night, I will be really happy, maybe even sad, because this is the end of the world for these characters, and I've been having a lot of feels currently with this book. I talked about this in my weekly vlog that you guys will be seeing coming soon. I'll be talking all my feelings in there. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one so far, and I'm hoping this is a 5-star read. I hope so. The next book that I am also currently still reading is Chain of Thorns, but as you guys know, I talked about this in my vlog. I kind of want to take a break from this because it's getting me kind of slumpy, you know, and I don't want to be in a reading slump, especially because June I have some awesome video ideas for you guys, so look forward to that. I'm still at my spot where I was in my book haul, so not much change, but I'm hoping to pick this back up once I get home from Maine. Sorry for pumping you guys. So going into my reading stats for the month of May, I had 0 1-star, 0 2-star, 2 3-stars, 3 4-stars, and 4 5-star reads. That's amazing. I have 1 of these was an ARC, 6 of these I listened to via audiobook, 0 of these were book of the month picks, 2 of these were buddy reads, 0 completed series, 0 graphic novel, 2 of these were library books, and 2 of these I physically read this month. 4 of these are 2023 new releases, and 1 of these are Owl Crate books, and 4 of these were on my May TBR list that I had. My page count, I believe it was, I haven't updated this since I finished a book yesterday, but currently it is 3,032 pages. And let's see, do I have my biggest book? I do. Sorry, my other sticky note was hiding it. My biggest book, which I was really shocked this was my biggest book, but then if you look at it, you will see why. My biggest book is Tempest Runner by Kevin Scott. This is a script format, so that's why it's such a thick book. But it was 592 pages, but like it's literally in a script, so like it was so easy to fly through. I love listening to this via audiobook. I'll talk more about this one here in a few minutes. My shortest book, I'll put a picture here on the screen. My shortest book was Nick Blake and the Remarkable by Angie Thomas. That's coming in at 304 pages. Really enjoyed that one. That was a 5-star read for me. I'll talk about that one later on in the video as well. My favorite book was a tie between 2 books I really enjoyed. I really loved Revel by Alyssa Mia Smith. I really enjoyed this one. I annotated it. I did a reading vlog for this one, so I'll talk more about this one here in a few minutes. I actually put a favorite quote of mine like in my notebook, in my Owl Crate notebook from this book, so that's really cool. Another book that I really loved this month was The Witch and the Vampire by Francisca Flores. I also really love Nick Blake and the Remarkables, so this was like the top 3 favorites. My least favorite, I really hate to say least favorite because I follow a lot of these authors, but my least favorite this month was Never Vacation with Your Ex by Emily Webley and Austin Sigma Broca. And I also I didn't love like I thought I was gonna love, but I still enjoyed Maya and the Return of the Godlings by Raina Barron. These 2 were my least favorite, but we'll see what I thought about these later on in the video. Now that I've destroyed my pile, let me get my first book that I read. The first book I read in the month of May, this was my May book club pick, and we had an author interview with this author, and that is The Witch and the Vampire by Francesca Flores. I was really happy to say I really did enjoy this book. It was such a fun, easy, fast-paced read. I thought this was the author's debut novel, but it actually wasn't. I learned that through the interview. I thought this was the author's first book that she ever written, but it's not. But this book gave me major Twilight feels just because it's been a minute since I've been in the Twilight universe. So I was really happy to have something similar to it, but also different at the same time. If you don't know what this is about, this is a queer Rapunzel retelling that's set in the forest that can kill the humans and vampires and all that. There was a man-eating forest, as my friend Charlie likes to say. The chemistry between the 2 main characters, Ava and, what's the other one? Kay. They have just been amazing, and I really overall did enjoy this. It was fun read to listen to. And yeah, I have an author interview with this with Francesca. I'll link that down below it's on my Instagram as well, so I'll link my Instagram down below. But yeah, this was a 5 out of 5 star read. Next book I read, or I actually listened to via audiobook, 90% of it, was Tempest Runner by Kevin Scott. I really enjoyed this one. This was such a fun, interesting read, because if you don't know, this is part of the Phase 1 connection from the High Republic, and this follows our villain of the story, Laura Dean. And Laura Dean was actually an interesting character to read from, because we never really get a villain's POV's book. I don't think we have. I mean, I'm sure we have for Star Wars, but not that I can think of off the top of my head. But I really enjoyed this one. It was a thick book, as you can see, but it flew by just because it was a script format and it was easy to read. I physically read a little bit of it, and then I also switched to audiobooks, so I kept having the soundtrack in my head and all that. So I really do suggest, if you want to get into audiobooks, check out these Star Wars audiobooks, because they have full soundtrack, they have sound effects and full cast narration sometimes. But yeah, I really overall enjoyed this, and it made me want to continue in the High Republic universe. My gosh, I cannot speak today. I give this book a 4 out of 5 stars. On to the next book that I read. Speaking of the High Republic, I continue my read with going into the Phase 2, and that is Star Wars The High Republic Path of Deceit by Tessa Granton and Justina Ireland. This is book 1 of Phase 2. I'm very happy to say I finally got this off my TBR. I had this on my Readathon TBR, which I'll link up above or down below. Go check that out if you want. But I really enjoyed this. I love how we have so diverse cast in here. One of the Jedi had a girlfriend as a sidekick, which was pretty nice and cute to see in the Star Wars universe. And then there was a character in here called Aslan, right? He was pretty interesting to read about. I'm curious to see if we'll see more of that character later on in Phase 2, but in the month of June, I am catching up on Phase 2. That way I can talk about this series with my friend Charlie, because she's currently caught up with it, and she said some things go down in the later books, and that has me nervous, because things went down in this one. This is a fun adventure quest type of novel. It's Star Wars in space. what more do you love? It's kind of hard for me to do summaries of a book that I love, but yeah, I read it this month, loved it, and I can't wait to continue on with these cast of characters with the later books in the universe. The next book I read was Maya and the Return of the Godlings by Raina Barron. I wanted to pick up a middle grade this month because it's middle grade May, and so I was like, what is a middle grade that's been on my TBR the longest? And I was like, this is probably one of them. I'm sure I have more of them. I'm sure I have more of them around my shelves, but this was the one I thought of the most. I had this on my shelf since it came out. I think it came out 2021 it came out in. So I had it on my shelf since 2021 and I have not picked it up since then. I actually like never picked it up at all until like the end of April when I started reading it, and then I finally picked it back up in the month of May. Maya is our main character, who is 13-year-old in this book, and she's on this journey to discover her own type of magics that she has. There's Greek gods involved in this and all that. Again, it's hard for me to do summaries, especially for a sequel. Overall, I really enjoyed this. This was a fun middle grade book to pick up for middle grade May. And I cannot wait to see what how the trilogy will end, and hopefully I won't cry in the finale, but most likely I will, because I usually cry in all my series finales. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully nothing goes bad with Frankie and Maya and Ellis, right? Elias. Wow. Forgot the last one name. Anyways, I give this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't quite a 4, or it wasn't quite a 5-star like I thought it would be, just because I think it's been a long time since I've been in this universe. Like, I read book 1 when it came out in 2020, in like 2020 or something like that. So it's been a while since I read book 1. But I did overall enjoy it. Love the action scenes in here, and the ending was very shocking. So I'm excited to pick up book 3 in the month of June. The next book I read, I really did enjoy it as well, and that is Revel by Lissa Mia Smith. As you can see, I've annotated this book. This was a book I was supposed to buddy read with my friend Donna. I don't know if Donna, if you finished this book. If you did, please comment down below, because I know you always watch my video. But I started to buddy read this with my friend Donna, and then I got so involved in it that I kind of left Donna in the dust. I'm so sorry. But also, Donna couldn't read her copy because her cat got sick on it. So, so sorry to your cat, but hopefully you can still finish this book, and hopefully you still love it, because I cannot wait to discuss this book with you, Donna. But anyways, this is really fun. I think if you are a huge fan of Caraval and the Night Circus, I think you will really love this YA standalone novel that is. And also, I read an Owl Crate book this month, and I never read my Owl Crates. So I was really happy when I got around to this book, and I got this off my Owl Crate list, so check mark all done. This is a book that was a little confusing for me to get into at first, just because it does deal with time loops and time jumps and all that, so it was kind of hard to focus while listening to the audiobook. But once I got into it, I was able to grasp all of the magic system and who's dating who. There's a love triangle in here that I really loved. There's some romance, male romances in here that I really loved. The purple/pink color you see are for favorite quotes. I think the yellow was for romance, and then blue was for magic system. So as you can see, we got quite a lot of magic stuff. So yeah, I really overall, also the twist at the end of this one is what made me get a 5-star rating from this book. I'm not going to say what happens, but if you know, you know. But I am very curious and excited to see what we have in store from Lissa soon. So hopefully she writes more in this world. If not, I'm excited to see what she has for her later book, because this was her debut novel, and if I enjoyed her debut so much, I think I will enjoy the rest of her works. The next book I don't have because I borrowed this from my library, but that was Witchling by Claribel A. Ortega. I'll put a picture here on the screen. This is the first book in a new middle grade series. This is one that I physically read this month as well because I wanted to read some more middle grade books for middle grade May. I've only read 3 middle grade books for this month, so not too bad. I want to get better at reading more throughout my months. Not just in May and not just in March, but just like throughout the year, you know? But I really did enjoy this one. This was a fun, interesting, definitely different from other middle grade books. I would say I can see why people are comparing this one to Harry Potter. I almost forgot what it was to Harry Potter because there are different like covens that these witchlings has to be in, and there is a trial that they have to go into, and there is found family trope in here. There's some great comedy from the side characters and all that, so I could definitely see the comparison, but I would say it's way better than Harry Potter, and that's coming from someone who used to love the universe of Harry Potter but doesn't anymore. So Witchlings got a 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm hoping to pick up book 2 in the month of June. Next book I read, I actually do own, and that is Never Vacation with Your Ex by Emily Webley and Austin Sima-Broca. I picked this up because this was also on my Read-A-Thon TBR. I forgot to mention that Revel was on my Read-A-Thon TBR, as well as Path of Deceit. So Revel, Path of Deceit, and Never Vacation with Your Ex are 3 books I read for my Read-A-Thon TBR. I picked this up because this was like the easiest one to read out of all my other books that I had, because if you saw that TBR, you know I had a huge heavy fantasy TBR like I always do, but it was nice to pick up a contemporary book because I was able to just not rush in it, I guess. It did take me like 2 days to read. I would say definitely save this one for the summer, like I wish I did, because there's a lot of, as you can see, there's a beach on the cover, so definitely feels a perfect beach read to read at. It's a perfect summertime read. It's second chance romance. Who doesn't love that? And there's a friends to lovers from enemies to lovers type of trope all in one. And there is a bi side character in here as well, which we love that. And I just overall really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to see what they have in store for their future books. I give Never Vacation with Your Ex 3.5 out of 5 stars. The final 2 books I read for the month of May was Nick Blake and the Remarkables by Angie Thomas. I'll put the cover back here on the screen. Sorry, editing me. This was Angie Thomas' first middle grade novel, and I really enjoyed it. I felt like Angie was able to get her humor more into this one than The Hate You Give. Don't get me wrong, I love The Hate You Give. You guys know that's like one of my all-time favorite books. I'm just saying I think I enjoy Nick Blake and the Remarkable more. Especially just because of her humor was able to get out more. It was about royalty, and it had a hero's quest journey, and again the banter between the side characters was just amazing. I love the friend group we got to meet. The twists and turns had me gasping out loud when I was listening to it and following along. I don't own this book anymore because I borrowed it from my library and I returned it already, obviously. But I overall really enjoyed this. I think this might be a favorite middle grade book that gets on my favorite list of the year, and that's high praise. I give Nick Blake and the Remarkable a 5 out of 5 stars. And then the final book that I read in the month of May is Nick and Charlie by Alice Oseman. This is a short 171-page novella, so it was very fun to be back in this world. And I personally don't know because I'm not British or I'm not from London, so I don't know how the rep is, but I heard from a friend of mine who lives in London says the rep is very good. It represents it very well. But if you know anything about Nick and Charlie from Heartstopper, it's basically their continuation of their love story, and this one made me feel a lot of feels, and it was just a quick, easy read that I had from my Libby account. So I was like, might as well listen to this audiobook and get it off my Libby account so other people can read it. So yeah, it was short, fun, easy read, and I cannot wait for more from Alice Oseman. And I cannot believe we get Heartstopper Season 2 and we get Volume 5, finally. And so yeah, very excited for that. Nick and Charlie got a 4 out of 5 stars. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this wrap up. If you did, please give me a big thumb up. Hit the subscribe button, turn your notification on so you don't miss any new videos coming from me soon. And without further ado, I'll talk to you guys down in the comments below. If you made it all the way through the end, leave me a... give me a mug emoji, any type of mug. It could be a coffee mug, it can be just any mug. A mug emoji, because I have a lot of mugs on my bookshelf. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys down in the comments below. Bye!